This is going to be my spoiler-filled review of Way of Kings, the first book in the Stormlight Archive. If you have not read the book or don't want it to be spoiled for you, please do not watch the video and stop watching right now. I am super excited to get a review out there because this is probably one of my new favorite fantasy books of the last 10 years. I love the way Brandon Sanderson writes. I first got introduced to him through the Wheel of Time series, and I'm finally picking up his series and really enjoying it. Getting into this book right away, I want to follow each main arc from beginning to end and tell you what I think of it. First and foremost, let's start with Dalinar's arc. I really like this guy's arc. Even though he's not my favorite character, I found his storyline to be the most interesting because his struggling with ideals versus actually practicing those ideals is very interesting to me and very realistic, because I think a lot of people do struggle with that. A lot of people hold these principles in their head that they just can't practice in the real world, and that this guy really, really wants to. And seeing him go from this just honorable guy struggling with what the monster he used to be, because he really was a monster, to realizing that he can find an in-between middle ground was just so fascinating, and I thought so believable to see someone realize, I was a monster, I have to be perfect now, which is something that I think a lot we see in our society. People who used to be really bad want to be really good, so they go to this extreme, whether it's like a murderer in prison who finds Jesus or something like that. But then as he realizes the actual situation of the world, he's like, no, I'm going to be the middle ground. I'm going to be willing to kick some ass, but I'm also going to do it in an honorable fucking way, and you're going to deal with it. And I thought that was so cool. I really liked his whole entire story. His relationships with the people around him just matched him very well, and it always felt very realistic to who his character was, and I just liked that. The final betrayal by Sadeas being the real sparking event for this character to evolve was really interesting, and how quickly it changed him, but how believable that quick change was, because how monumentous that event was. Seeing him land where he landed was perfect, and I'm more excited to see where he goes than just about any other character in the book. In book 2, which I've already started. I'm in the first chapter of. Now let's move on to Shallan. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I definitely like her arc as well. I'm more curious about her than anything else, because I'm not quite sure where she's leading, and I'm also not quite sure if she's a good person or not. The revelation that she killed her father kind of came out of left field for me. I definitely understood it. It made sense. I thought it was a great revelation to have, but it made me question her a lot more as a person. We haven't been told exactly how bad of a person her father is, so I'm not sure if it was justified or not. He definitely wasn't a nice guy, but that doesn't mean he deserves to die. I'm just kind of hesitant to say whether or not I like her or not. I think she's very well written regardless, and I'm very excited to see where she goes, but I'm not going to say whether or not she's in my top people right now. Shallan, I think where it's ended up with her confronting all the issues and being in major trouble in a lot of ways and burning almost all the bridges she's built, has kind of left her with the most potential of anyone else right now. Everyone else is kind of locked into a situation, and she's kind of free-floating and able to do different things that other people can't, and I'm curious to see where she's going to go. The final scene with her was very interesting, with the kind of confrontation that happened and her just spilling the beans of everything she's learned. I thought that was really cool, but I'm not entirely sure where it's going to go, so I'm not going to say anything because I don't really have any accurate predictions. And of course, the final main arc that we've been following is Kaladin. Kaladin's arc is the most nail-biting arc of any fantasy character I've read in a long time. Because we have so many other well-fleshed-out characters, I don't think Brandon Sanderson's afraid to kill anyone off. I don't know yet, because I'm not really into the series that far, so I actually did believe there might be times where Kaladin could die. There were times where I thought Dalinar could die, especially with the final battle with him. I thought, oh my god, he's going to die, but then, of course, Kaladin saw it, and as soon as that happened, I was like, alright, Kaladin's going to go get him. He's too good of a person not to. Kaladin was so interesting for me to follow. It's like a real underdog story, and the betrayal with him and his commander happening in his past, that was so heart-wrenching. Brandon Sanderson really made me feel throughout this book with everyone's arc, and it just blew me away. Kaladin's arc is just so intense, and you love it. You root for the guy, always. He's such a likable character, but not perfect by any means. And he really hates himself in a lot of ways, which is kind of interesting to me. How he always blames himself for people's deaths and thinks he's not good enough, when in reality, he's probably better than almost anyone else in this book, maybe besides Dalinar, at just being a moral, good person. Let's talk about Bridge 4. The people were great. Of course, there's some kind of more background members of Bridge 4 that you don't really know or care about, and they die, and the main ones typically don't. But you still really feel for them and their struggle. it's just, I don't even need to talk about it. Everyone loves Bridge 4. I've been on the subreddit. You guys all celebrate Bridge 4, and it deserve it. Bridge 4 is awesome, and you just feel like it's a team that just works together so well, and the building cohesion and teamwork just felt so good, and the way Kaladin nurtures it and how masterfully he works with these guys just makes it such a fun experience. And it's kind of jarring to have this kind of fun experience going on in what really is a dark book, but I think it's a great arc within the arc. And getting into another kind of subplot, we have this assassin character who we finally learn who is orchestrating his journey and why he's obeying them. Now, I'm not really sure how I feel about this guy, because he's always like, it's not my fault, I don't want to be doing this. Well, you're still fucking doing it, dude. Like, I get that he's part of this thing, but I don't really know what it is super thoroughly yet, because the book hasn't unveiled all the mythology, which I really like. I like that there's still a lot about this world I don't know. I hate when fantasy worlds just start blanketly telling you everything, and I like when I have to slowly discover the world, which this series has done really well so far. God damn, this world is so well done. It just feels so real, and I feel like you're there, and the heat of these lands and everything, it just feels right. I love it. I think it's great. I have not been this excited to read a sequel to a book in a long time. Thank you, Brandon Sanderson, for such a fantastic read. My final grade for this book is a 9.5 out of 10. I think it is going to be regarded as a classic. I think it is a fantastic book. I'm going to go read the second book as soon as I am done editing this video and have it uploaded. I cannot wait. I am so excited. I'll talk to you guys soon. Please like and subscribe if you want to see my sequel review or just want to see my face more in general. Have a good day. Peace.